Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raiders of the Lost Flicks Live. I'm here with my co-host, the Professor himself, Flayer X. What's going
Good
on,
evening,
buddy?
all.
It's been a while.
Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost Flicks Live. I'm here with my co-host, the Professor
Where is
himself,
that coming
Flayer X.
from?
I'll
Ha ha.
probably get window.
It's been a while.
Oh, I know where it's coming from. Hang on a second. There we go.
All right. No, I've done that. So many people have done that. I've done that a million times. But yeah, sorry we had to be gone for a couple of weeks. I had some issues with my immediate family and some illnesses, and I had to leave town suddenly. The journey took about a week because we took an RV, and the RV had a lot of maintenance issues, and so I had to put YouTube kind of on ice for a little bit. I'm sorry I had to do that, and I apologize to everybody that's watching this right now that has taken me so long to get back to talking. And lo and behold, what happens this afternoon? The damn movie has been pushed back until next year. You know, I can't say I'm surprised, but damn, man, wow.
I think this is going to go down as the lost year.
It really is, you know, and I have mixed feelings about it because it's like on one hand, I get where people are coming from, but on the other hand, it's like you can't expect to hold all of these movies hostage and expect to just manufacture some kind of blockbuster movie season post-COVID-19, if that's what they're waiting.
But I think it's also you can't hold people hostage.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm looking at it in the larger context that, you know, you and I, you know, probably have a slightly different view on it, and that's totally cool. And I'm sure our fans have different opinions on it. But, you know, to make a blanket across the entire United States and go, okay, here's what we're going to do. It's kind of crazy when we were told, 15 days to flatten the curve, and we're on day 199. It's like, yeah. I truly believe that we are adults. We should be given the information, honest information, because I think that's part of a lot of this too, is we're not given honest information anymore.
No. And it breaks your spirits because you can't plan anything. You know, it's like I was already trying to figure out when I'm going to drop my review and where I'm going to go see it at and when I'm going to go see it and when I'll buy my advance tickets. And I was going to start talking about maybe some box office predictions. All of that.
Yep, out the window.
It's gone.
And that's kind of like people's lives right now. They're just out the window, flying somewhere. You don't even know where. And but as I want to give credit to the wonderful commenter in our chat from earlier.
I'm not able to highlight that because I jumped in a little bit later, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and read that now.
And Alex, who pointed out that it's probably for a better thing, to have happen. I really think that I agree with that. That we need these large audiences back at the theaters, and that leads into another topic that we'll discuss a little bit later. Are theaters coming back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get into that. But I mean, on one hand, I kind of predicted this in my video. I have a very famous video on my channel. It's one of my top 5 on this channel altogether, and it's called Dune Has a Big Problem. And it wasn't me being negative about Dune. It was me being realistic that this movie, as much as I wanted to succeed, has so many insurmountable odds stacked against it. This on top of it, this is the second delay. Okay. There's the third. I'm kind of losing track. I think originally it was going to be November, and then it was December. Well, first it was going to be 2/2/2020, which I thought was super cool. I'm like, oh, that's a neat time to release. It's really memorable. It would look good on a movie poster, but that was out the window almost immediately. And now this. And
well, and as E-Tech was talking about earlier on his show, there is a lot of apathy out there for movies right now. These big blockbusters is there going to be the audience for them? So yeah, I mean, Dune has a lot to overcome because it's admittedly there are super fans of the movie and the series, and there are there enough of them out there to keep the normies to keep coming into this, because it really is a niche book.
Well, yeah, you've already put the big push out there. You put the trailer. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Warner Brothers has done all the right things as far as marketing goes for this movie. Like they held back on the pre-trailer. They didn't show too much in the existing trailer, just enough to hook you in. Some people might think they showed you too much, but a lot of it with this one, I mean, this book has been out there since 1963. Everybody has seen Dune 1984 and or Dune, Frank Herbert's Dune from the Sci-Fi Channel in 2000. So, 2000, 2001. It's not really a big surprise as to what happens in the movie. It's just we wanted to see a glimpse of anything, and they just showed us just little snippets, just enough to get us really excited, and then it kind of quiet. And we were talking about that this afternoon because it's like I want to do a show tonight because I haven't done a show in a couple weeks, and I'm sorry about that, Flair. Flair does a lot of work behind the scenes. He gets things together and chases down articles and does a lot of fact checking and stuff like that. And I appreciate the hell out of him. He had all this stuff put together, and I'm like, Flair, I can't do shows this week, man. I'm going to be traveling. I don't know. I can't be broadcasting from RV park Wi-Fi. So I didn't know if that was going to be reliable or not. So, but anyway, I'm here. I'm in Illinois. We need to do a show. I have Wi-Fi that's reliable. What are we going to talk about? We had a different set of subjects, and then all of a sudden the news dropped this afternoon that they pushed this back, and they pushed back James Bond, No Time to Die, which
I think James Bond came out first, and I think that's what killed Dune as well. It's all of what you want to, for lack of a better term, all these tentpole movies are going to 2021, and a lesser movie, and I'm not saying lesser in the terms of quality, but lesser in knowledge base of the Dune franchise gets pushed back. I think as Linkalex said earlier today as well, it's kind of inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sad state of affairs for 2020. What more can we say about that?
Well, I mean, James Bond, I've had mixed opinions about all along, just because all the politics and the just.
Yes, I agree.
And also I've never been. Sorry, James Bond fans. I'm not a huge fan of the actor playing him right now. I don't like his lack of charisma. Okay, is the best way I can put it. He's not very charismatic, Daniel Craig. Yeah.
If I was to watch a Bond, it would either be Connery or Dalton.
But that one was going to come out in April, and then they were going to drop it on a streaming service, and then they were going to put it out this time. And I think don't you think a lot of this is coming from the fact that Tenet came out and didn't really light the world on fire when it dropped? It wasn't the be-all, end-all. And
I think I think the fact that it kind of took the terminal dive of an ICBM missile into the subterranean depths of uncaring, that I think that's part of the apathy of the, they tried to hype it up. They tried to make it, it's a word. It's this, it's that, and it's the greatest spy thriller ever. And then you're like,
it's Christopher Nolan. Whoopity-doo.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, I'm not the biggest scaredy cat of COVID, so I was I was willing to go out and see it. My theater didn't know if it was going to be open for, and that's been the hard part. Again, going back to the theater issue, is my theater basically said, no, we're not going to be open for it. So go into Spokane if you want to see it. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I don't want to drive 30 miles, 40 miles, 50 miles to drop, $30 to go to a theater that I don't really, have any attachment to. And as you and I have discussed.
Well, and you and I, we mentioned this too. It's like that particular movie. It's like, what the hell is it about? I mean, it's like I get it, Christopher Nolan. You want to keep your audience shrouded in mystery, but not everybody's in on that same joke, especially people nowadays that don't go to movies. But I think that brings us into our next part. It's a shame that this movie's been pushed back. I mean, I kind of saw it coming. I kind of predicted that it would happen. I'm sad that it happened. I mean, especially a whole damn year from now. I'm like, oh, really? It's like, I just release it on Netflix already. Put it out on Hulu or Amazon Prime. But no, the theaters don't make enough, or the studios don't make enough money from the streaming services. So now Dune is one of those movies where, yeah, I would spend $20-$30 just to watch it. I would at this point. I'm dying to see it. I'm sick of it being delayed. I want to consume this product, but these studios are sitting on this stuff. Like they're sitting on it forever. Like this is ever going to end. You know what I mean? It's like,
and I think that's part of it. I think the studios are trying to be smart. Not that I'm not saying that they are being smart. I think they're trying to be smart because they're trying to fall on our theater is going to stay open or our theater is going to go away.
Yeah, and I think this might be the nail in the coffin too, man.
I think they're contributing to the death of theaters as we knew them and as we will know them.
And that brings us to our next topic. Get that off of there. All Regal Cineworld cinemas to close on October 8th. That's going to be in the UK and the US.
Yep. Well, and mine never opened. They, my state gave the all clear, said you can open up, and the theater said no, we won't. And they had literally when it was rumored that they would open up, and there was lines around the block to get into the theater, and they literally almost had a riot, in my little town over, wanting to see movies. And it's
that's interesting. Yeah.
People are tired of the lockdowns. They're tired of what's going on with COVID. They have money. A lot of these people have extra cash.
Yeah, commerce can't continue if you can't commerce anywhere. I mean,
yeah,
it's not a word, but I think this is the catalyst. I think this is going to be the start. I hate to say this. I feel like I'm just full of doom and gloom tonight, but I've been calling this for a while now. I've been calling this shit out since August because I'm the guy that was. Yeah, I used to, up until all this shit started, I used to go to movies on opening night. I'd go on Thursday night, the very first premiere of every movie, go to the earliest show that I can catch, and then try to have my review up and uploaded by midnight. And you remember, Flair, I saw everything. I saw every damn thing I could, and I reviewed it because I love doing that. I have an open mind. I like a lot of different kinds of movies. And
the more I became a co-host, that's what I loved about your channel.
I miss doing that. I do. But I'm here to tell you, though, those movies that I went to, there was only like maybe a max of like 12 people at the big movies. Like the smaller ones, you saw a handful. And if you walked into a theater and you're the only asshole there on the premiere, damn. Yeah. All right, that was me on the Playmobil the movie. I was the only asshole in the theater. I'm like, oh, this is going to be one of those, isn't it? And about halfway through it, I'm like, yep, this is one of those movies. This is really bad. Holy crap.
Dax Skeeter 17, I would think they'll have to relaunch and basically restart the hype. That's my opinion.
That's my problem with this too, man, is it's like, all the money that they spend on this marketing, okay, and to get it out there, because the problem is it's hard to get anybody to see movies nowadays as it is, okay? So you have to spend on the ads, the TV spots, the radio promos, the cross-promotion with Burger King or Taco Bell or whatever the fuck you have it, and once you've spent all that money and you pull all this stuff off and delay it, you're going to have to ultimately spend that money again to try to put it back in the public eye. And I've mentioned this on this channel a couple times. There's a couple movies that came out this year that I was anxious to see, like Wonder Woman and Black Widow. I don't care about those movies anymore. I'm far past caring. Those movies have been delayed so many times that I can't keep up with when they're coming out. I've lost interest. I don't even want to see them anymore.
And it's also, and I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer on them, but it's also the fact that they're playing these political games with, I want my entertainment as politics free as I can get it. I get enough politics through my internet connection, through my phone.
Oh, dude. Yeah. If you've seen it, like especially this year, you log into Instagram. Have you registered to vote? You log into Facebook. Have you registered to vote? I'm getting 2 or 3 texts a day. Have you registered to vote? Bro, I already voted by mail. I'm still getting this shit over and over and over again. I'm like, yes, damn it. Jesus, damn dancing Christ. I have registered to vote. Leave me alone.
You know that I'm doing this study on Facebook, the political study on Facebook.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
And I have never been so happy to not have Facebook right now. I mean, I thought I was going to go absolutely nut fucking insane. And it's like, wait a second. I'm not getting bombarded by, have you registered to vote? Do you want to be a poll worker? Do you want this? Do you want that? And I'm like, my TV, I can shut off at any time when the politics becomes too much. And it's so nice to just walk away and go, you know what? Politics is over there right now.
It's like I appreciate the fact that they're doing this stuff, but it's like at some point you need to put down the politics and step away from it once in a while. You need a little bit of escapism, and that's where movies always was my little Shangri-La away from reality. It's like I just want to tune out. A buddy
of mine made a comment. He's a cop, and he goes, "It's like politics is meth, and YouTube and all of this is the meth pipe, and politicians have the lighter and are feeding you the meth, going, you want to care, you want to care, you want to care." And it's like, I don't anymore. you destroyed because I used to be a political wonk.
Yeah.
But and I would sit and have a conversation at the drop of a hat about politics, and now it's like, can we talk about something else?
No, that's being everything, right in your video games and your breakfast cereal.
I love it when Linkalex brings up conversing about Dune, the book series.
Yeah,
because he's not bringing up something political, and I'm getting to talk about something not political.
That's why I choose my co-host very carefully. I hire people that read so that I don't have to. No, I'm just kidding. I like to read too when I find the time. I did bring my Dune book with me.
Well, you've got so much on your plate right now.
You know what though? I do have a lot on my plate, but the only thing that is kind of a benefit of this movie being delayed, I will have time to finish the book and probably the next one by the time this sucker drops.
Yeah, that and Pete making that review of his. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I see the whites of its eyes. I'll believe it.
I had to harangue that guy for 2 years just to get his Halloween 2018 review out.
No more drugs for that man.
So that's all I got to say about that. Dax Skeeter, I hope we answered your question. I don't know if the hype. I hope the hype will be. I mean, you have the fan base craving. You have people like me and Flair here. But are we enough to carry it? Are we enough for them to make the money that they need? Like, even if we go and see it twice, will that still count? Will that be enough? You know.
And to the second part of his question, will that be enough profits to make the sequel? There's
our biggest worry here. Yeah.
Dollar question.
Yeah.
You know, does the fan base, you know, for better or worse, have that buying power? And Dune being what it is, I mean, I have people ask me, well, why did Dune rip off Star Wars? And I'm like, no, you've got that reversed. You know, Lucas borrowed very heavily from Dune.
Dune is a much older property, yeah.
And they go, well, wait, when did Dune come out? And I said, well, he got the first printing was in '65. He was writing it
People
in the 60s.
That don't read just know the movies. They know that Dune came out in '84 and Star Wars came out in '77. That's all they're looking at. So
yeah. Well, and I've even heard a comparison to Battlestar Galactica, and I'm like, oh no.
The other piece I wanted to add to this whole Cineworld closing here, I don't know Cineworld locally. I am familiar with Regal.
Cineworld is the British.
Okay, that's the UK one. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the UK. Regal. They own the majority in Regal, along with a Chinese company. So it's.
Now, it doesn't say that they're closing the Regals, just the Cineworld portion of it. So
they are. It does. They are closing the Regals.
Oh shit! Okay, because those I'm aware of. Because my best friend, he has the Regal movie pass, and I told him, I said, "Hey, get the one through the other one that I go to. I can't think of the name of it right now. That's how long it's been since I've seen a freaking movie. But I said, go with the other one, you know, the other big chain. So that way, when I come visit, we can go to the movies together, you know. And he went with Regal, so he's going to be pissed. I don't even know if I've told him about this today, you know, because I just found out about it like yesterday or today. I'm like, oh god, this too. So yeah, Regals is very big. There are Regals in Florida. There are Regals here in Illinois. So
it's a Regal here in I'm going to dox myself, in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Yeah. It's the only theater in town that shows new movies. You know, we have to go into Washington State if we want to see, if you want to get a different chain. And it's, you know, it's scary, and it's, you know, a sign of the times, honestly.
Back to what my friend was saying, he went to see Tenet, and he went to go see Bill and Ted, and I think he also went to go see New Mutants. He went all three of those movies in a span of a couple of weeks, and he went on different days. He went on weekends. Those theaters are dead.
Yeah,
dead, and that's in a town where the movie theaters were always packed.
Up here, its weekends are usually because there's it's a tourist town, so you get a lot of people packed in on the weekends. Weekdays are a mixed bag because the early shows are a lot of the locals. The late shows are a mixture of locals and tourists. So, I mean, like I said, we had a day where there was almost, you know, they were trying to break down the doors, you know, on a rumor that they were going to open up. And it's sad. I know I've said that a few too many times, but
no, but it's true. It's
well, people who love cinema.
We don't want to deliver this news. It's just, this is unfortunately the news. So yeah. Here we are. I promised you Dune news, and this is the Dune news. So, but the cinema thing kind of led into something we were kind of laughing about earlier. So it's still not good news, but it's something we can kind of laugh about. And Flair knows which one I'm talking about here. So we're going to get into that, because we were talking about, you know, Tenet didn't set the world on fire like we thought it would. And I kind of joked about it in the summer. I'm like, oh, is that going to be the movie that's going to save box offices, okay, because all the articles always said like, well, when Tenet comes out, we're going to have this and this and that, and people are going to start going to the theaters. And I'm like,
and a little of that slopped over onto Bill and Ted because of
Yep.
the member berries. Oh, you loved Bill and Ted back in the day, and it's
now we know that movie theaters have been showing older movies, better movies, because that's kind of part of the problem. I've mentioned this several times, is a lot of these premieres that I go to, there's not that many people there because the movies, the quality of movies have just kind of dropped like sharply, and so what they're doing is they're taking all these classic movies and sticking them back in the theaters because Hollywood doesn't want to release nothing. They want to sit on all this property. They just want to sit on it forever. And as far as I'm concerned, the longer they sit on it, the more rotten it gets. That's just how I feel about it. That's my two opinions. Like, I understand that if it's not safe to have a theater open, not to do that. But at the same time, you have to understand that at least right now, the theater business model is dead. It's dead, and you need to adapt quickly. You need to adapt quickly. You need to release this shit to where people can see it in some facet, Look
at the movies that they held back for years. 21 Bridges. What was
21 Bridges? They could have held that a couple more years. It'd have been fine.
Oh, yeah, but it goes to the point that the quality is just not there. And New Mutants, they held for what, 3 years?
Oh, I didn't think it was ever going to come out. And the funny thing is, it finally came out. Nobody went to it. So.
Yeah, which is really sad. Again.
Yeah, it's sad, but I don't know whether to laugh or cry at this, but yeah, Hocus Pocus leads box office nearly 3 decades after original release. Hocus Pocus almost beat out Nolan's Tenet right here. It says these box office receipts put Hocus Pocus ahead of a more recent. Oh, no, it did beat it out. Hocus Pocus beat out.
Yeah, it nearly knocked it off the top of out of the box office at all.
Here we go. Okay, so this is Warner Brothers, the same people that have just delayed Dune and James Bond. Okay, those box office receipts put Hocus Pocus ahead of more recent titles like New Mutants, Russell Crowe's Unhinged, and mystery thriller Infidel. There's a chance that Christopher Nolan's Tenet matched Hocus Pocus in terms of Friday earnings, but Warner Brothers has not reported daily numbers and declined to comment. You don't say. you don't say. Where's my you don't say at? I'm on a laptop. I don't know where anything is anymore. I thought I had a you don't say here. Do I have a you don't say? I don't.
You don't say.
Okay, now I feel better. I got that out of my system. But yeah, what does this say about the quality of movies, Flair?
I think it says a lot about both the movies and the people going to the movies. The consumer is not being given quality content.
No, they're not.
That if okay, I look at it like the first sequel Star Wars movie. It hit you with the nostalgia button so hard that you're sitting there going, oh wow, yeah, it made me remember what I loved about
you're
the original
sitting in a theater and you're remembering better times from a different better movie.
Yeah, and so for me, when I was looking at that movie, I went, why am I sitting here wasting
go home and put the Blu-ray on. Yeah,
I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch the original trilogy that I just bought on Blu-ray on a big screen, on my big screen TV, pop my popcorn and enjoy that, because this is just a rewrite of some of my favorite bits of that story.
Theaters capitalize on that shit too, man. I mean, you see them do it a million times. Like, they'll put the new movie out and then they've got a sale on the old movie, like repackaged and re-released in the stores the day that drops, because they know you're going to go in like, oh, remember that movie? I should totally go buy that on Blu-ray on the way home from the theater,
I went into my local Fred Meyer's, which is part of Kroger's. They had a 2-pack of on one side was the new Lion King hooked with the old Lion King, the cartoon. And so they were, I mean, this was a couple months after the Lion King came out, and they were really just pushing that original Lion King. It was the same with, see, I think that's the business model that Disney especially is using against the consumers, and I think the consumers is becoming very tired of it.
The thing that frustrates me about Dune too is I'm afraid. I've said this before. Okay, deep down, we all want Alita Battle Angel 2 to come out, because as much as we like Alita Battle Angel, it's mostly a massive setup movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's setting up things that we don't get to see, and that's really the biggest bummer about Alita. Is there's a lot of things that are explained, set up, exposition be damned, that we don't get to see.
Oh, so you haven't heard the news then?
Apparently, I haven't.
There, you need to look it up. There is, they are hinting at a sequel.
Okay.
Because the guy, oh, who was it?
Because I know a lot of this hedges on Disney, who owns Fox, which means they technically own Alita Battle Angel.
Well, there was a big push. I watched a video on it, and I can't drop the name of. I can't remember the name to drop it. I'm sorry to whoever did the Alita video on YouTube about it. But there was a Twitter, one of the characters, one of the main roller battle tournament champion, the guys who played that battle tournament champion, was in a full mocap rig and said, "Oh, we're doing shots for a movie I can't tell you about."
Oh, okay. I mean, I hope it comes out. But what point I was getting at, though, is that I don't want. I know it's all right. I didn't want to derail the whole podcast, but Dune. I don't want Dune to be a part 1 without a part 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want it to be complete. I want it to sell enough tickets to at least be complete, at least the first book.
That has been my fear ever since hearing that it's going to be a 2-part movie.
Yeah.
That
I mean, it needs to be a 2-part, but I personally would have preferred another miniseries. I would have preferred them break that down, have it be a TV series like Game of Thrones. I hate to compare it to Game of Thrones because personally, I am not a Game of Thrones fan. I think I've beat that horse to death ad nauseum, but I understand that mode of delivering entertainment. Okay, it's like you spread the books out over seasons, and you make sure that every little character and every little detail is developed. Dune needs that. It really needs that a lot. It needs a lot of explaining because there's a lot of moving parts in the Dune universe. And, in my opinion, the David Lynch movie is an example of them trying to cram too much into too short of a time. And it's a lot of information to digest. And a lot of people, what we call the normies, didn't really process that when it came out. I mean, that was my introduction to Dune. So
yeah, and it deserves the big budget that somebody like Amazon or Netflix would be willing to throw at it.
Fork over, yeah. They would be willing to fork over. That's why I say you have the movie done. Just go ahead and sell it to one of these big distributors and let them advertise it for you. All they gotta do is take the trailer, put it on Amazon in between one of the little ad breaks on the movies that you watch, and people will watch that. They will.
Yeah.
It'll
suck in a lot of sci-fi fans.
Probably do better at this point if you release it on a streaming service. I wasn't pro streaming service as much as I am now back in August because I thought that maybe this thing would get contained a little bit faster than it has. It hasn't, unfortunately, for reasons I'm not going to get into because this is not a politics channel. But damn it, it's like now you just have this stuff that we have. I mean, fuck, October 2021. A whole year. I'm just supposed to take that, and I'm like, a whole year, really? Like, I have to wait a whole year to watch a movie that you filmed last year.
Well, no, they filmed in what? 28.
The reshoots were recent, but I mean, this
Yeah.
all started last year, so.
But exactly, and that, but I think again that kind of goes into that Black Widow, that apathy of the consumer for these big lumps of time that we're taking. For we love these movies, but it's how many lumps are you willing to take? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not Pete Puma. I'm not going to take 3 or 4. I'm going to walk away saying, okay, I took my lump. I'm out. I'll wait till it comes out, on a streaming service or pay-per-view, or something where I can enjoy it without feeling like I'm breaking the bank. Number one, because I think that's where Disney went wrong too. Is they overpriced Mulan for what it was.
Yeah, Mulan. Oh, and, man, we could talk about that one for a while, couldn't we?
I don't want somebody to come along and price Dune at $40 because they think they'll make the money back, and that's kind of putting the shank into it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying Hollywood is really taking it. It's kind of reminds me of when I used to work for GameStop. Okay, and back in about 2011, I saw the writing on the wall with the digital downloads and the season passes and all this shit. I knew that the business model that they had adapted wasn't long for this world. Like, why would somebody stand in line at a midnight launch when they can have their game pre-downloaded and ready to play at midnight at home? Yeah. Why would they do that? And sure enough, they drag their heels, not adapting to a new business model, and they have suffered for it. And I don't think that the GameStop is long for this world. I don't wish them any ill will, even though I don't work for the company anymore. I enjoyed working there when I did. I would never say anything bad about the company as a whole, but I will admit when they have made mistakes and when they have lost opportunities. And that's exactly what Hollywood is doing with this whole $160 million budget movies, okay, with $350 million worth of marketing that they have to push behind it to make them go. This shit ain't gonna work anymore. That is over. This is over. It's dead. You need to adapt. You need to move on. If you want to give stuff to your customers, you need to release it to where they can consume it. A lot of people are not resisting the whole pay $20 to rent a movie thing. People will do it. They're anxious for anything new.
$20 is a good price point.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because that literally covers. Okay, if I went to my local theater over here, $20 would get me in the door and a popcorn.
Yep.
So you know what? I can justify that. I can justify a $20 price point, but when you're getting
they're giving you free napkins,
Yeah, stealing those.
Don't forget the paper cup they put the liquid in, or the popcorn. That fancy cup they put the popcorn in. No.
Oh yes, my collectible tins
collectible Captain Marvel tin. Yeah.
Don't get me started.
I took one of those home once. I took a little video of me throwing it in the garbage. Like, bye-bye. But yeah, no, I was kind of resistant to that whole, releasing it for a price. But at this point, if you've already spent $160 million on the movie and you need to sell it to get that back, I'm more than willing to do it at this point for this movie.
I kind of see.
But going forward, Hollywood needs to readapt. They need to stop spending so much money on making these movies and work with smaller budgets and consider releasing these on digital platforms. And another thing I kind of wanted to mention is that Alex had mentioned earlier, I'm all pro. I'm totally 100% for bringing out more drive-in movie theaters. However,
absolutely,
the people up north, that ain't going to work. Nobody's going to sit in their car in the middle of fucking January freezing their nuts off to watch Dune. Okay, they're not going to do it. All right, I'm not sure I'd be willing to do that. Okay, I mean I would, but I don't know how many people would. I don't know how many normies would. That's for damn sure.
We've had 3 open in the local area for over the summer.
Okay, over the summer it's a great idea. It's great.
I don't know how they're going to do in the winter, and I'm pretty sure they're probably going to go shutter themselves, and because I've gone and seen a couple of older movies at the drive-in and enjoyed myself immensely.
Mm-hmm. I used to go to the movies in the 80s. I remember the movies that we used to see, and it was a big deal for us kids, and it was kind of convenient because parents would make us put our pajamas on, and that way when we fell asleep and we came home, they could just put us right in our bed, and
Yep.
it was done,
To take one step back for a second, I want to make this point that the movie studios are making the same mistakes that the music industry did a decade ago, thinking that they can manage the digital output of their content. And as soon, you can sail the high seas to get movies and music anymore, but it's literally Napster destroyed their business model, and what Napster did to the music industry, COVID is doing to the movie industry.
It really is. Yeah.
Hello, Keely. It's nice to see you, man. Good to see you again.
Keely Chow. Yeah. Thanks, COVID. Stub my toe. Thanks, COVID. No. But yeah.
I really see that. I see it comparable. That they're just not. They learned the wrong lessons from, Metallica suing Napster, that they could manage and control the more digital aspects of where society is headed. Because I'm sorry, one of these days, theaters are going to be one of those you go to say, "Oh, little Jimmy, I used to come here when I was your age," and
we're there.
Because
that's what I was saying. That's why I've been trying to drive that home all night. If you're just joining us just now, I've been saying, last year I went and saw almost every movie that came out, and most of them did not have a lot of people in the theater. And I think it's just lack of interest. People are tired of the sequels and the prequels and the rehashes and superhero number 574, and you burn out on it. The explosions galore, CG just CG everywhere, and it's boring actors. Tired of it. It's like you watch the trailers, and it's like you're lucky if there's something on there that, oh man, I want to go see that. Like once in a while you might see something, but it's just lack of quality. Okay, and they've been driving the prices up for tickets. A lot of people just like, piss on it. I'll watch it when it comes to Netflix. And lo and behold, that was the start of it. It's kind of like what Napster did to music is what Netflix has done to theaters. I can't deny that Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu haven't put a spear in the movie theater business model, but the COVID-19 and all of these fucking delays is definitely the final nail in the coffin, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and that's the thing, is the studios thought they could control when it was just Netflix. They could control it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Hulu. Then you got Amazon Prime.
And now your cable has been disassembled and turned into a streaming service. So now you have, instead of paying $180 for your cable bill, you're paying $195 for 5-6 different streaming services so that you can see everything for fear of missing out.
Yep. And
that's it. It's not improved anything.
A brick wall at some point where people are just going to stop. And I think Disney Plus is going to burn that bridge hard. That there's going to be a backlash because you with people being home from because of quarantines and because of unemployment, they have a lot more. They're watching a lot more streaming.
They really are. They're consuming. I've marathoned, I don't know how many TV shows in the past couple of months. I went through all of Psych. I went through all of Deep Space Nine. I'm going to go through all of Voyager next. You're marathoning this shit, man. You're going to go through it and you're going to be done with it. And then what do you go on to next?
And what that means is it normalizes it, because it used to be, Netflix and chill. It was a special date night thing. You'd come over, you'd hey, I'm going to watch Netflix. You want to come over and watch it with me? Now it's, hey, I'm Netflixing. Hang on, I can pause this. I'll come over and it's like it's not the big.
Or now you put it, if you're working on something, you got it on in the background just for noise. I mean, there's that too. You're just watching a show that you've seen 100 million times. You know how many times I've watched all of the Mystery Science Theater episodes? I don't care. I put them on because they make me happy. So I mean, I'll put them on and I'll fall asleep watching them because they make me happy.
For me, it's like Sword Art Online, and there's anime that's on Netflix. There, Justified is on Hulu. So there's things that I just I'll sit here till all hours of the night watching Justified or anime that's on either one of them. But it's now so normal, and it's so I think it's also the willingness of these studios to put out their older back catalogs, because you look at Disney Plus, and I'm sorry, I am not watching it for the new stuff. I'm watching it for Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles.
Doesn't it almost feel like movie theaters have become like the local classic rock station? It's like people listen like, oh man, these songs were so badass. I went through that when I was like in the 90s. I was like, I got burnt out on the grunge after a little while, and like in 2000, everything sounded like, Tool or Stained or, you know what I mean? Or Korn or whatever. Nickelback, they all sounded the same, and I got burnt out on it. And I started putting on the classic rock, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm listening to like the Who and
the Animals,
Rolling Stones, all that. I'm like, I like this shit, and it's like movies. It's like movie theaters are going that route now. It's like, oh, all these famous movies. Like I know friends of ours, a lot of them have gone to go see stuff like the Goonies and Ghostbusters, because they didn't get that chance to see it in the theater when it first came out, so they're going and they're doing that now. I went through that with Jaws in 2011. I think they put it out in the theater, and I had never seen Jaws in the theater because I would have been like 2 years old when it came out. So, or no, actually, I wasn't even born yet when that came out. So it's like they put it in the theater. I'm like, yeah, I have to go see that in the theater because it's like one of my top 5 favorite movies.
Yeah, we were discussing right before the show. My theater did a huge push. I mean, they took out a full-page ad in the local paper of Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary. We're going to be doing it. They did it on 3 screens, 3 of the largest screens, and it was packed, wall-to-wall people.
It's quality over something, quality.
But it was so awesome. It was so powerful because I got to sit with people of a like mind, that love the original trilogy. And we got to do, there were people that were dressed up. There was, Vader. There were stormtroopers. There was Leia. There was, and there was that passion. And as you can hear in my voice, I had passion.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be and interact with a group of individuals. There was no toxic there was no talk of toxic fandoms. There was no talk of politics. There was no talk of, oh well, you're just a neckbeard or
escapism. Escapism actually working. Holy shit! What a concept.
Sure, there were people that probably had every political opinion under the sun, but we all came together and just loved a movie for 2 hours, and then got to stand around and talk about our passion, and that was probably the best night of cinema I have had in years.
And that's what we do on this channel. We like to talk about movies. It's always been my favorite and my first and foremost focus. And I know I wanted to focus on Dune, but with the movie being delayed, we'll still deliver you Dune topics when we can. But we'll have to shift with the ever changing world. Right now, having a YouTube movie channel, it's a struggle. It's a struggle because the movies industry doesn't know where it wants to go. It doesn't know where it wants to go. It doesn't communicate where it wants to go. It keeps changing like the blowing wind, and I can only do so much with it. But what I do want to end on tonight, okay, is I want to end on an up note. Okay, so this is some Dune-related topic here, and it deals with comic books, which I will admit I don't know shit about comic books, but Flair does. So, and it's a new Dune prequel comic, House Atreides, launches from Boom Studios. All eyes will be on the barren world of Arrakis this coming December when director Denis Villeneuve, Arrival, and Legendary Pictures unspool their big-budget silver screen adaptation of Frank Herbert's seminal science fiction novel Dune. Until then, fans can satiate their desire for the story's mind-expanding spice and ambition new prequel comic book series from Boom Studios titled Dune, House Atreides, and we're folding space. Oh, they're trying to be clever with the way they're writing here to present a preview of the premiere issue, which arrives October 21st. Last week, Boom unveiled a first viewing of Dune House Atreides #1, a galaxy-spanning 12-issue series that primes audience for the epic adventures to come in December. The intoxicated enterprise will be adapted by the script by Frank Herbert's son, Brian Herbert, and Kevin J. Anderson, who co-wrote the titular 1999 prequel novel based on Frank Herbert's personal notes. The art comes courtesy of illustrator Dev Pramanik Paradiso and the colorist Alex. I am not even going to try to pronounce that last name. Take it away, Flayer X.
Well, if it's based on the Kevin Anderson and Brian Herbert, it's going to be good because it tells where everybody comes from. You know, it gives the backstory to where Leto, you know, the rise of Leto and why he was such an influential person in both the Empire and in the League of, you know, the Landsrat of the noble houses, because he really, you know, there is, you know, there's a long story to where the Atreides come from. And if this gives, you know, a little bit of a little spoon-fed, you know, and the art, look at the art. It looks awesome.
It's pretty good, yeah.
I'm going to have to go see if I can pick this up because, I mean, it's intrigued me. But then again, you know, I'm probably one of their.
Oh, wow, here we go, yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, this isn't that juvenile garbage.
No, this is the comics.
In the political comics, yeah, this is and you know, this is nice too because this is gonna. There's a lot of people nowadays that just don't like to. They want to have every little detail filled in for them and explained in grave detail, and this is going to be kind of where that comes in. You know what I mean? It's like people that don't have time to read the book, or they didn't get through the audiobook version of Dune fast enough for the movie.
Well, this is and it's based off of another book. So these comics are basically taking the novel and turning it into a morsel of, okay, here's how the movie will be, you know, with this character and this character and this character and you know, it will focus on Paul. It can't, you know, because he isn't born yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to introduce, you know, Jessica, you know, how Leto gets Jessica as, you know, his titular wife. So, you know, there's a lot there to explore, and that's kind of cool that they're doing it, you know, in a very modern adaptation via a comic book, because a lot of people are with this resurgence, for better or worse, what has happened in the last few years. People are willing to take a story in this format.
I mean, that's the other thing too, that it's why I'm just kind of like in such a massive state of disappointment today and just frustrated with the whole thing. We've seen the action figures, now we're seeing the comic books. All these things would have been wonderful tie-ins with the movie's release, and now a whole year from now, will the same amount of excitement be there? I don't know. I mean, I'm excited, but but I feel like I've been waiting for this movie for my entire life. So it's like now I'm being asked to wait another year, and it's like, really? It's like
the argument, well, if you're excited now, you'll be more excited then. And I'm like,
no, 'cause it only applies to certain things. Like okay, for Dune, maybe I have to see it one way or the other. But like I told you back in January, I was excited about Black Widow and Wonder Woman. Now I'm not as excited about those anymore because they've been delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed to the point where I just don't care anymore.
Well, okay, I remember when the Wonder Woman 84 trailer dropped, and the what is that, Blue Monday?
Yep, and I did a trailer reaction for that, and Warner Brothers copyright struck me. Damn you, Warner Brothers, not letting us have any fun.
Well, but that sucks, obviously, for many reasons. Because I really
gave a positive review too. Damn it, I was helping you out. I was working for you for free. I really enjoyed showing your products. Yeah.
Number one, I really enjoyed your review, but number two, there was a huge spike in the purchase of that song.
Yeah.
That because I've heard both versions, both Orgy's more industrial version.
And that song may or may not even be in the movie. It's kind of a trendy thing to do now. It's like you hook them on use those member berries from a song that they remember, like kind of like when they did "Run the Jewels" with Black Panther, and everybody was like going crazy over that song again.
Yeah.
Revolution will not be televised.
And that's what was so cool about what was it, Iron Man 2, when it was basically an AC/DC greatest hits.
Yeah,
CD.
that's the closest thing to great AC/DC greatest hits you'll ever get. Because I asked about that once. I'm like, did AC/DC ever do a greatest hits? They're like, yeah, it's the
Iron Man 2 soundtrack. but absolutely. I mean, you'll probably hear it in the credits. Because that's what they'll usually do is they'll tie it in the credits, or at the end somewhere when you're buried in the the CG artists, Hung Fu, we tossed salad 2 kind of affair in the very end of the movie. They'll show it in that, but it's like, I just, well, we also heard it on what was that, Eclipse from Pink Floyd,
yep, in the trailer, yep,
the trailer song, and that's, to me, I mean, I get really frustrated because I'll hear a song that I love, that I haven't heard in years and years, and they're using it as a trailer score, and I go to watch the movie and it's not there, and it's like,
no, yeah, that's why I don't like. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go there because that's my favorite song. I'm like, that's not gonna be in the movie, right? That's just,
you might as well just buy it digital and listen to it and enjoy it now.
Bro. Yeah, it's like it's like they don't have enough material to put in the trailer, so they have to use a song to hook them in. I mean, I get it. I mean, at least for, I don't know. Movie trailers are very basic. It's hard to get excited about them because they're all exactly the same all the time. Like, I'm excited about the new Dune movie just based on the footage that I saw, not exactly not so much the assemblage of the trailer itself, just the footage that they delivered us, and that gave me hints and glimpses of how they're going to portray things that we're going to see. But
I was excited before I saw the trailer.
Yeah, I was too.
I will admit freely, I am a Dune super fan.
Yeah.
I am a like other people are for other fandoms, I am a super geek fan of the Dune universe.
It's a rich universe that's to be mined, and definitely there's a lot of franchise potential if they get it right the first time.
And as you have said tonight, and many times that they keep tossing these stumbling blocks in front of it and one of them is going to trip it up, and that is what I am so afraid of, because the trailer dropped, and I was like, oh wow, the visuals. They put the stills out, and the stills were awesome, and then they put they put them into a moving format, and we got to see people, like Skarsgård. He gets to show, Batista as Raban, Jason Momoa. We get these.
All the actors have been really cool about promoting it. Like they're not going out and saying stupid stuff or doing anything to miss it. Like Alex was saying earlier, it's like you're not going to hear anything now unless something bad happens. And then not even 7 minutes after he said that, oh, it's been pushed back. I'm like, oh no.
What it really boils down to is, I'm going to be hyped because I've loved it. I mean, I own the miniseries. I have watched the 1984 movie more times than I can shake 3 sticks at. I don't mind. I will sit and gab with Alex about the intricacies of the Dune universe.
That's probably what we're going to talk about for the next 12 months. Is when we do this show, is we'll break down some of these different things and get you ready for the movie. You know what I mean? We'll introduce you to the universe. You know what I mean? We'll walk you through it. If you don't know it already, and if you're coming in fresh and you're thinking this is something you want to do, then that's going to be our news, because we can't give you any movie news if there's nothing there to deliver. I'm not going to pull a Mike Zero and just manufacture something out of my butt. No offense to Mike Zero, but I can't pull that kind of stuff off. I can't manufacture information. I have to have something tangible that I can work with. We do have a wealth of knowledge from the whole universe of the books. And
a researcher by choice.
There you go. Yeah, so that's what we'll cover. You know what I mean? We can't really do ticket numbers until it gets close again. Will they have to remarket this movie? Probably not, honestly, because the hype is already there, because they haven't been running this movie down anybody's throat. That they really haven't. They waited, and I got kind of nervous because I'm like, why are they sitting on this trailer so long? And it told me, honestly, I might be wrong, but I still feel like they've been skittish about releasing this currently in this time. You know what I mean? Maybe 2021 is a better time to release it. I don't know. For right now, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't savagely disappointed, but at the same time, I guess I get it. And also, I did predict it in a video that I made several months ago that this was going to happen. I'm not happy that it happened. I'm not going to do an I told you so. It's just a lot of the things that I predict do come true, and then when they do, I'm like, oh man, I wish I was wrong just once. I wish I could just be wrong about this shit just once, But I kind of knew that was going to happen. But I don't know. I think we've kind of gone on long enough. I think I'm going to bring this one to a close. I do want to mention a couple of things. We're going to be doing Halloween movies this weekend. We're going to be doing Halloween 4. Me and Flayer X will be there. We do Halloween 4 this weekend, then we'll do Halloween 5 next weekend. One of them we like, one of them not so much. We're still going to watch it, okay? If you're not familiar with Raiders of the Lost Flicks Live, what that is you watch a movie with us on YouTube, and then we grade and we grade the movie afterwards, and we sentence it to a rating. A cheese curd scale that I've concocted a long time ago, a scale of 1 through 5. From Limburger to smoked Gouda, So, and also we interact with our audience. We do a lot of joking in between. We tell you about movies we saw on Tubi. That's every Friday night at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on this channel.
And then we wander far afield and come back and watch the movie a little bit. And wander far afield again and
also on Loitering in Wonderland, if you want to check out his channel, it's liwstudios.com. Loitering in Wonderland, we review Twilight Zone episodes, and we're going to be moving away from Tales from the Crypt, and we're going to be reviewing an old TV series called Amazing Stories. It was kind of a Spielberg offshoot. There was an anthology type deal, and we're going to be covering some different shows on there. That'll be on Wednesday night, I believe around 10 p.m. ish Eastern Standard Time on Loitering in Wonderland. So those things will be happening. As far as single videos, I don't really know. I have an awful lot on my plate right now, just going on in my life. I don't want to bore everybody with the details, but I'm doing the best I can. I will try to deliver news and videos as soon as I possibly can. If you haven't done so already, hey, give me a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Helps keep me going, helps give me a reason to keep, bringing out new content and delivering the absolute best that I can. And like I said, I can only apologize so many times, but it is where it is, man. We always say family first.
Chat tonight, Keely Chow, Dak Skeeter 12, Shahaya Dunny.
Yeah, Shahaya Dunny. I don't know if did we read her comment? Maybe we should.
No, we never did get around to reading them. You meant to.
We're going to read that now, and we're going to end on that note. Okay, I wasn't able to highlight that because I wasn't here earlier, so I apologize. But we're going to read that right now. And here. So Shahaya Dani says, I'm so happy. It hurts to have to wait a whole year, but this is for the best. Fall 2021 will be the best moment for a box office, and plus we'll get a proper film promo like interviews and a premiere. Not to mention, Joker managed $1 billion in that first week release in October and managed 11 Oscar noms, so it is a prime time for Dune in terms of the Oscars. It has no competition in September. The Batman will move because studios don't like to compete with themselves, and it doesn't have to compete with the summer or holiday seasons either, so perfect. Plus, Denis has time to film his movie with the Gyllenhaal between now and then, so once Dune is out, we can start following production for part 2 right away. So thank you, Shahaya Denis, for looking for the silver lining in the cloud. She's looking at this in a positive light, and exactly. I think it's a good thing to end on. So,
and thank you, Manliness and Motivation. Good to see you.
Thanks for being here, Manliness and Motivation. He's one of our most loyal listeners, and we love having you in our chats always. But definitely come back Friday for the show, and I'll try to get more content up as soon as humanly possible. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Flair, thanks for being here. Thanks for helping me put the show together on kind of a last minute notice, but like I said, I'm trying to get the routine back going again. I'm not traveling currently, and I'll be staying put in this state for a little while here, so I won't have the beautiful green screens in the background, but hey, I'm here. So
well, that's all that counts, man.
That's all that counts, right?
Let's converse.
All right, folks. So from yours truly, you guys have yourselves a fantastic week, and we'll see you this weekend. Peace out.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it somewhat entertaining. Please remember to depress that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you'll be the first to know when new content is published. Please visit raidersofthelostflicks.com for more hilarious entertainment and links to all of our social media platforms. Also, consider supporting us on Patreon. As little as $1 a month supports our worldwide digs for more Lost Flicks. Thank you, and have